Alright, what's up guys? It's your girl Imani Barnes, licensed esthetician, makeup artist, and owner of Glitter and Glory. And today I have for you a Q&A. The other day I told you guys that Glitter and Glory turns 3 officially on paper on January the 18th. And in order to celebrate that, I just wanted to kind of help you guys out. So I asked all my SD besties, my cosmetologist friends, beauty professionals in general, even small business owners to kind of ask questions. This was like a free pick my brain situation. So I just want to answer a few of the questions really quick so I can help get you guys together. Okay? So, actually, I'm going to go through all of the questions. So let's get to it. So the first question, this is a good one. She said, I just graduated aesthetic school. I have my first week. I'm nervous. Any tips? I would say definitely practice. You being nervous has a lot to do with how you feel about yourself as a professional, and the only way to improve how you feel about yourself as a professional would be to practice consistently. I would also recommend, outside of practicing and working with models, because models are not just for makeup. I feel like models kind of get used like in that way, but you can get models for other things. So one, I would say practice. For two, I would say look into finding a mentor in your area, or someone that you know that you kind of really respect and see them for what they are. They even might have what you want to have in your business. Mentors are always a great way to kind of pivot yourself or throw yourself into a straight line of success. That's the best way I can put that. I would also say market yourself silly. Like, market yourself crazy. I'm pretty sure everybody that works at Target near my house has a business card of mine because I'm a shameless plug. So I would definitely recommend that. What other tips would I recommend? I would recommend making your space your own. I put a lot of time and a lot of money into putting my space together. And I feel like that's so important because you spend a significant portion of time at work in comparison to being at home or whatever. So I think it's super duper important that your space inspires you. It makes you feel good. You're proud of it. You'll want to show it off more. You'll want to tell more people about it. So definitely put a lot of time and energy into that. So far I've said market yourself, plug yourself, put a lot of energy into your space, get a mentor, get some models, and practice. Those are pretty much, and keep your space nice and clean and organized. That might be the type A in me coming out, but I just feel like it just makes you work better when you know where things are. It makes your client trust you more, which can help with client retention. It can do a lot of different things for you, so just make sure that you're keeping your space up to par. You know what I'm saying? As far as somebody said, advice on coming up with good content. When I tell y'all that everything is content, babe, like I truly, really, truly mean it when I say everything is content. I cannot name anything that is not content. I literally just made some content out of me pouring wax into my bucket. I made a time lapse of me putting my wax sticks up for organization purposes because my shipment just got here. Like, I think that people, maybe not this person, but I think sometimes people confuse good content versus like angles and things. Angles and things and knowing what looks good is a totally different task. I will admit that I am naturally gifted in this way. I naturally know what looks good or what will look good. It's just something that I'm going to try to put it into words and put it on paper so I can teach you guys, because I really don't know how to teach you angles, but I'll talk to my photography friends and figure it out. But outside of that, everything is content. You pumping some moisturizer into your hand is content. You pouring Barbicide into your container is content. Putting retail out, obviously services on your clients, you interacting with your clients, all these different things can be content. I think the number one thing that you should think about though is what kind of content do you want to put out, and stick to that. So my content is very educational. It shows you behind the scenes. It shows me actually doing services, like actually doing the work. And then a lot of times it shows you that after, like how my clients feel. Specifically my makeup girls. Like my caption the other day was, I make my girls, like my makeup, my artistry makes girls say I'm too pretty for this. You know what I'm saying? When people leave my table and their skin is just glowing and they just feel so confident in themselves, it makes them feel that type of way. So these are things that I know works for me and my audience. My audience is very like that. Like, I don't know how to describe it. I have a very high maintenance, luxury, skin brat-ish kind of audience, I guess you could say. But I also have other estheticians and other beauty pros and service providers that follow me. So being educational is so important, but also education is how you get your clients too, because your clients want to know that you know what you're talking about. The license, it means something, but sometimes you just gotta sell it a little bit more. So I say all that to say that everything is content. You have to figure out what you want to stick to content wise, and then you gotta run with it from there. I hope that's helpful. How do you get clients to come back? It's my biggest struggle right now as a new Esty. My darling, dashing personality. I'm joking, but I'm partially serious, y'all. Like, honestly, being yourself is the best way to get your clients to come back. But on a less personal note, let's talk about the technicality and the experience. If you provide your clients with a top tier experience, they have no reason to not come back. If your products are high quality and you communicate that these products are high quality, if your space is nice and it makes people say, ooh, or they just get excited about coming in, that is a part of an experience. When you educate your clients about what you're doing to them, to their skin, whether, you know, wax, brow, lash, what have you, when you educate them, it's like, okay, she has me, like I can trust her. And then whenever you show them results, and then whenever you give them a treatment plan, or you just continue to kind of feed into them that this is a walk that you're on together. These are ways to focus. These are ways to get your clients to come back. Other things that you can do, I don't do it as much anymore. I'm phasing it out in 2022. But one thing that I used to do, I used to pre-book my clients. But don't pre-book it. Whenever you say it, a lot of things is about how you say it and how you sell it. So I wouldn't necessarily come out and be like, I don't know. Actually, I think usually I'll be like, do you want to book your next appointment, or would you like for me to do it? Very simple. Do you want to go online, pay the deposit, you know, have to do all that stuff, or do you want me to book it for you? And granted, I have my own reasons for phasing out pre-booking my clients, but for this, when it comes to focusing on retention, that can be a very, very big thing for you. Also, start asking your clients questions. How is your experience? Do you like this? What can I change? What can I improve? I think that that's always been my biggest thing. Like, even in my friendships, relationships, I've always been the type of person to ask questions. How is this going? How do you feel about this? Did you like that? It makes them feel, not even feel, it lets them know, it communicates to them that you care about their experience and how they feel when they're with you. Your clients have to feel good when they're with you. Also, a long time ago, this can go for content, community, anything, I literally make content for myself. Do I have a target market, and do I have an audience in my mind, and do I have people that I know for a fact are going to vibe with my content? Yes. But I say that to say I make content for me, therefore I attract people like me, and therefore I attract clients like me, and it's all just kind of like it's like a revolving door. So maybe I'm being calm in this video, but I'm very high energy. I'm very funny. I'm very jokey joke, but I'm also very high maintenance. I'm also very material girl. I'm also very luxury. I'm also very, I want the best of the best. And I want the results too. So I have high quality products. I have probably the most expensive wax. I wear a uniform to work. my space is beautiful. It's really an experience, and I make content that would attract a woman like me, that because I appreciate content. I'm a creative at heart. So all of that tells me that I'm pretty much marketing to my community and myself. So getting people to come back and hang out with them, or a version of them, or somebody that they deem to be funny and educated and, you know, exciting or whatever, is going to get you that client to come back. That was kind of long-winded, so I hope it answered your question. Okay, so somebody is asking me basically. So somebody's question says finding balance between only wanting to work on people of color versus other ethnicities. And then okay. Finding balance between only wanting to work on people of color versus other ethnicities. And then somebody else said, sorry, it's my speaker. What did somebody else say? Where did it go? Why am I losing things? Anyway, I lost the other question because apparently I'm struggling today. What lane of aesthetics do you want to take? This kind of comes back to knowing yourself. I feel like it's kind of crazy that mindsets and knowing yourself is a big part of business, but I just told you that's how I market, and I just told you that that's how I create content. So it's also kind of the same thing with this. I know myself, and I know the things that I'm willing to do and the things that I'm excited and passionate about, and things that I've been passionate about since I started aesthetic school. So that kind of helped me etch out my lane. But I think also shadow, I call them big fish, like shadow people that's been in the field and been in the industry for a long time. If you can, I know COVID kind of makes things a little wonky, but if you can shadow people, definitely shadow them. Go on deep dives into the internet and figure out like what you like. Do research on bigger companies. Sometimes bigger companies can put you on to things that you didn't know about. DMK had no idea about the banding and the different enzymes that they use for tightening and different skin treatments and things like that. That doesn't really apply to my demographic of clients at the current moment, but it's still a really interesting thing. You have to make a decision about if you want to. Here we go. So another thing that made me think is I wanted to be a necessity. Like I needed to be a need. And relaxing facials are amazing. I love a relaxing facial, but I also love skin and the progress of skin. So moving the envelope forward or moving the button forward is so important to me. So what better thing to get into than corrective? And so I introduced chemical peels, I introduced microneedling, I already use enzymes in my facials, things of that nature. These are all things that contribute to progressing the skin to whatever the client and the esthetician's goals are together. I also was blindly in love with waxing before I even started, before the first hour of classes even really hit or settled in well. Like, when I was in aesthetic school, I was obsessed with wax. Like, my first love ever was makeup. My second love was skin. But girl, when I found waxing, it was like literally, it was a moment for me. So that's just kind of, you know, you got to think about that. There's lashes, there's brows, there's micro shading, blading, there's this, there's that. There's so many different things that you can do in this industry. Maybe even researching all the things that you can do as an esthetician would be helpful to you. That's something to think about. But it all comes down to like, what are you naturally interested in? Don't force it. Don't pretend like you like something if you don't like it. Go to what naturally, you know, inclines you and kind of makes you go, huh? You know what I mean? Do it like that. But as far as only wanting to work with people of color, I understand. I do. There's ways that you can phrase that. You could put it in your bio. There's things called qualifying statements in the bio. So, like, for example, your bio could say, "Hi, I'm Imani Barnes, a licensed esthetician focused on equipping Black women and women of color with tools they need to," you know what I'm saying? Or it could be a different form of a qualifier. I provide progressive skincare for black women and women of color by means of peels, needling, blah, 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 blah. Whatever way you do that. That's an example. So there's ways to qualify them. There's ways to use your language to allude to the fact that this is a space for us, by us, if you're a woman of color. And there's ways to do it without being offensive. I've seen one of my friends, Ryan, she's a nail tech. Her company is called The Nail Doctor. She's located in Charlotte, North Carolina. Love her so much. She actually got kind of trolled in her comments because she made a tweet or something and posted it on Instagram about how she is creating a safe space, a safe, luxurious space for Black women. And the girls were in a tizzy. And it was like, why y'all in a tizzy? Like, there's so many spaces for other women and other ethnicities, and Black women haven't always been included in the conversation. So, although her verbiage said this is for us, she never said that no one else was welcome. She simply said that this is for us. And I feel like language is so important. That is one of the top things that I can say. Language, your bio, your website. And then, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but if you go on my Instagram, it's us. It's going to be us. It's going to stay us. I have nothing against working with other ethnicities or other people, but primarily my demographic is other Black women that are all the things that I listed before, or that fulfill the things that are in my target audience list. Like, I like high maintenance, high earning corporate women from ages 25 to like 38. That's kind of like my bracket as far as, you know, a target market. So that's just a few things off of my list. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. Yeah, because it says finding balance, but you balance things. It's your books, it's your business. You make a decision about what you want to do. You qualify these people or you disqualify them. One thing that I've had to remind myself is like, this is my business. Like, I have to tell myself that all the time. This is my business. Like, I run this. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. What else? So professional camera, I use a Sony I'm terrible. Okay, my professional camera is a Sony a6000. I just got the iPhone 13 Pro 2 nights ago. Last night. 2 nights ago? Ciao. Last night? I don't know. Just got this phone, but before that, I had the iPhone XS, and she carried me through. Okay? She carried. You just have to adjust your settings, do 4K, and that's pretty much it. I can't remember what the other setting is. It's something with is it 10? I don't know. iPhone XS before, because I haven't even dropped content with this yet. So this 13 doesn't even mean anything yet. This is the 13 Pro though. And then Sony a6000 to answer that question. For men's facials, how do you go about massaging when it comes to the facial hair? I don't believe in drippage, so I don't engage with the full beard unless it is added on to the service. I literally engage with the edges of it. So, and then usually if they have a big beard, just like the size of the beard determines my finger range. Because obviously a full face with no hair, I'm giving it all 4. But if they got like a little something, I'll do 3. If they got 2, you know what I'm saying? And if I gotta go like this, I don't know. Usually it's the 2 finger special right here, right above where the beard line starts. I do it that way, and like I said, I leave their beard alone unless they're getting like a high frequency treatment, or unless they ask me to do some small detangling and things like that. Hair is not my specialty. Removal of hair is my specialty. So I like to stay in my lane. But as far as men's facials, I just go for it. Now, if it's low, I'm probably gonna go over it a little bit. But I'm thinking about the big beards, the big ones, and those are the ones that I don't really mess with. I just go to the edge. So just kind of do it the way that you would do it for somebody else. Just kind of change the width, I guess, of your reach. Let me check on this camera. Okay. I kind of already answered that one. Okay. This one says, tips on building clientele and finding a spot after becoming licensed. I already touched on building clientele. You have to be a shameless plug. Instagram is your best friend. Join every Twitter thread. Make your own Twitter thread showing your work. Facebook. You got to figure out where your clients hang out. That is for sure. Pre-COVID, literally everybody that knew me know that I ran a business because I made it a point. And don't just shove it down people's throats. You gotta have some couth and some charm about it. I'm a very charming lady, so I don't really know how to teach charm, but I will tell you, I know how to slide my business into a conversation, whether it be the beginning, middle, or the end. It's gonna get slid, baby, okay? Because I'm a slide. I'm a slide anytime you want. And that was 21 Savage said. We gonna slide. So as far as finding a spot, it's the same thing. So somebody also asked me tips on finding an apartment in Atlanta, because you guys know I'm not from here. So it's the same thing with the studio, kind of. You have to think about, so the studio situation, you have to think about your client experience. How do you want them to feel? What do you want them to see? What do you want them to smell? What do you want them to experience outside of you before they even get to you, when they get to you, and then after? So the space that I'm at right now, we have valet parking, we have concierge at the front desk. My space is beautiful, very well lit, very clean. It was like I was saying though, as far as apartment hunting in Atlanta, it's the same thing. You have to figure out what's important to you. As a single Black woman that moved down here by herself, safety and security was so important to me. An ample amount of lighting, an ample amount of cameras, gates, security fobs, making sure that, you know, people, we have like a little security person that kind of comes by. Stuff like that was really important to me. How accessible my apartment was from the parking garage was important. The way the floors looked, the way the bathroom looked. Are the corners and the crevices well maintained? Is everything sealed up properly? What was I located next to? All these different things are super important. I was fortunate enough to catch a recommendation of a few different places because I had some friends that went to Spelman, and I just knew people that kind of had experience and lived a little bit of the Atlanta life. So I wasn't completely blind whenever I came down here, but I also kind of was very blind. So very, very much just figure out what makes sense to you. Figure out what values and things are important to you. And then kind of go from there, for sure. What's another question? My experience moving to Atlanta was difficult, hard, treacherous. The only thing that kept me together was pretty much school, because I was already a schoolgirl. I graduated in May of 2019, and I moved down to Atlanta in June or July of 19, and I started my master's program at Georgia State in August. So having that balance and that reminder, like, okay, you've done this before, you've had a planner before, you've had professors, you've had office hours, you've had all these different things before, that definitely kept me afloat. But having to be a shameless plug, all of my classmates know about my business. I plugged it any chance I got, everywhere I got. I was a marketing major. I mean, they couldn't really even be mad, for real, for real. That's what we're here for. So there was that. getting my business off the ground, totally different story for a different day. But overall, I will say it takes the nittiest and the grittiest of everyone, or out of anyone, to move from your home state by yourself, and not only move for school but also bring your business. I had a lot of nerve, but if I had to reflect on it and what I did and all the decisions that I made, I wouldn't take any of it back. I would not be half the woman that I am right now. I wouldn't be in the positions that I'm in. I wouldn't know the people that I know. My business wouldn't be where it is. I just truly believe like everything happens for a reason. Atlanta whooped my ass. To be frank about it, it really did. And sometimes, like, even recently, it still was. But somewhere along the way, I made friends. My friends from back home kept me together via FaceTime. And I just kept thinking about what I wanted and who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. And that's kind of what kept me going forward. Things are still not perfect, and adulting is realizing that things never will be perfect, but progressing and being progressive is so much more important. I really also struggled because I used to be a perfectionist, and that probably had a lot to do with my experience and how it went. But Atlanta was hard. Moving to a major city is hard, but I always knew in my heart I was a city girl. I've always known I was a city girl. So yeah, not easy, and I can always expound upon that in a different video, but for the most part, hard but worth it. Challenging but worth it. But if you have a job, baby, you know, that might be totally different. I can't speak to that. I cannot speak to that. I can only speak to it as a graduate student that's also an entrepreneur in the beauty business. That's the only place I can come from with that. Somebody said 3, baby, that's a big deal. Congratulations. Always so proud of you. Thank you so much. 3 is a big deal. I didn't even think about how big of a deal it was until I started to think about it, and I was like, 3 years in the game? I can make a separate video about 3 years in the beauty industry. I've been a beauty girl. Like, y'all know this. I am so true to this. Like, so true. My mom and I were talking about it on the phone the other day. Like, how true to this game I am. It's literally me. Like, it's my existence. I feel like, you know, if you don't got the sauce, you lost. And I was born with it. I really was. Some people try and force their hand or force the industry, force certain things. I haven't had to force nothing. I've had to bust my ass, but I haven't had to force anything. And that is something that I can always be proud of. Somebody also asked me finding good certification courses. That's going to kind of go along the lines of what your specialty is. Whenever you decide what your specialty is, you decide the type of accounts that you're going to follow and the type of companies that you're going to endorse and want to be in support of or a part of. And then next thing you know, there'll be these other advanced and highly technically trained people before you, and you'll want to work with them. Instagram, there's also plenty of websites depending on what state. So Georgia and North Carolina, because those are the 2 states that I'm licensed in, they have websites that tell you about specific certifications. But sometimes Instagram, social media advertising and social media networking is really where it's at, if I'm being completely honest with you. So yeah, figure out what you want to do. If you know what you want to do, follow accounts and companies that kind of supply or specialize in your niche, and the courses will just kind of start popping up. And then also Google can do some things, but social media and going through your mentor are usually my top 2 recommendations. Somebody asked me would I be open to being a mentor. Not yet. I still feel a bit young to be a mentor. I know that I have great knowledge and I'm highly skilled and highly trained, and I'm very proficient with what I do. I know that I would be a great mentor. I just personally am not ready. I also have some gargantuan goals that I want to crush before I feel like I'm prepared to kind of pass the torch. It's always community over competition with me, so I'm never opposed to answering questions or assisting or giving help whenever I can. But as far as looking at somebody in their face and being like, yeah, this is my mentee, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm sure some of my friends will argue, but I don't feel prepared for that yet. But maybe in the next 5 years or so. That sounds so far and so dramatic, but for real, we'll see. As of right now, though, not at the moment. Not at the moment. But if you are interested in corrective skincare, I would recommend a chemical peel course. I would recommend a microneedling course, nano infusion course. I would recommend dermaplaning, of course. And that's pretty much it. Those are pretty much the heavy hitters that I use in my studio. I'm a microneedler, I'm a chemical peeler, I am a nano infuser, and yeah, I forgot the other thing that I said that fast. But yeah, those are the things that I would definitely recommend. Certain companies have like different courses. Like I want to take the face reality class and kind of see what their back bar is looking like. Take things that you want to know how to do and get education from companies that you love and adore and that you believe in and can back. Because I love SkinScript and I love Glymed, and I can back them. And I've participated in a lot of their education. So, you know, there's ways. And then same thing about the social media thing. There's ways. Follow the people, follow the companies, and everything will kind of come together. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. How did you... Oh no. Oh no. Hold on, guys. Let me see if I can find this question really quick. Because I definitely screenshotted it improperly. Oh, I screenshotted that so poorly. Hold on, guys. Give me 2 more seconds. How do I get to my archives? So I found the question. The question, I already answered it, but I'm just going to read it out loud so we know. So how did you gain clientele in the beginning? Shameless plugging, Instagram, social media, telling the entire world. Using my charming ways, charming them into my chair. A lot of these are really good questions. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this helps somebody. I hope that you learned something or gained something from this. Thank you so much for being present with me, for being here with me, for supporting my business, and for the compliments. I work really hard on my marketing. I work really hard on my content, my captions, everything. It kind of comes... It comes and it goes, but I'm just super thankful for all of it, and I'm really thankful that you even trusted me to ask me questions and allow me to answer for you. So if there's any more questions, you know, you can always slide them to me, but as of right now, I think we're pretty much done. My business is officially 3 years old. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. Like, I'm overwhelmed. I'm to the moon about it. So many bottles of champagne should be popped. But the reward for hard work is more hard work, because I'm nowhere near where I want to go, where I want to be. This is definitely a marathon and not a sprint. It's a journey. And I love this journey. I can finally say that I love this journey. It's a hard journey. It's not an easy one. It's not an easy industry, but I'm in love with it, and I'm always willing to do the work. And I hope that you can say the same thing about whatever you're passionate about. But thank you so much again. I just can't say thank you enough, and I can't send enough love to you. So cheers to 3, and I'll talk to you guys later.